Today, for just a daily thought from Matthew chapter 4, again, as we read this whole chapter, there's several things that are going on. One is that we recognize that Christ is facing the temptation, and that's important to note. That's important to see as we see this explanation occurring in Matthew chapter 4. But also we are going to see the calling that of the first disciples. And so I want us to just take a moment to consider the calling of the disciples, and then ask the question, how is God calling us to serve? And so I think the first thing we need to note is that God called the disciples where they are, or where they were. He was not looking for them to already be carrying out the task that He had for them, but He met them among life's way. They were just doing their job as fishermen, and God met them right there. Now, He wasn't going to leave them there, but He met them where they were to move them to the place where they needed to be. He was going to equip them to the task that He had. And so we recognize that He met them where they were to take them to where He needed them to be. And it was a journey. We need to recognize in our lives, God meets us where we are. He meets us in our sinfulness and pulls us out of it when we respond to Him in faith. We recognize as a child of God, He meets us where we are and says, I have a task for you. And He moves us to where we need to be, and it's a journey. And so let me ask this question. Are you allowing God to meet you where you are? Or are you finding excuses to make? As you consider reading the calling of the disciples, let me ask this. Are you hearing God's voice where you are? And are you ready to follow His leading where He wants you to be? Let's keep reading together throughout the New Testament in 2024.